In the heart of a forgotten coastal town, there existed a lighthouse with a cursed history. Known as the Wailing Light, it was said that those who ventured inside never returned, their screams eternally echoing in the crashing waves. No one dared to step near, until a group of researchers sought to uncover its secrets. Dr. Eliza Harper, a marine biologist, led the team. She wasn't one for ghost stories, but the tales of inexplicable disappearances near the lighthouse intrigued her. Alongside her were Mark, a historian obsessed with the lighthouse's past, and Sophia, a tech-savvy investigator armed with advanced equipment. Their objective was simple: enter, explore, and document what they found. The lighthouse stood jagged against the backdrop of stormy skies, its windows fractured and its light eerily flickering without a power source. As the trio approached, the air felt heavier, thick with salt and something intangible, a weight that pressed down on their chests. Inside, the air was damp and carried a faint metallic scent. The spiral staircase groaned under their steps, and the walls seemed to hum faintly, like a distant chant that grew louder the higher they climbed. Mark stopped to examine the faded inscriptions on the walls, strange symbols that didn't belong to any known language. "These look ancient, older than the lighthouse itself," he muttered. Sophia's equipment began to glitch. Static on the audio recorder, erratic spikes on the EMF meter. "This place isn't right," she said, her voice shaky. At the top of the staircase, they reached the lantern room, its centerpiece a massive fractured lens that seemed to pulse faintly with an unnatural light. Eliza reached out to touch it, and the moment her fingers brushed the surface, the room plunged into darkness. A piercing wail erupted, surrounding them. When the light returned, they were no longer in the lantern room. Instead, they stood on an endless stretch of rocky cliffs, the ocean crashing violently below. "What just happened?" Sophia screamed, her voice barely audible over the deafening waves. Mark pointed ahead. The lighthouse was there, but different. Towering, impossibly tall, and constructed of black stone that absorbed the faint light around them. A figure stood at the doorway, its form shrouded in shadows, but with eyes that glowed an unnatural white. "We need to leave," Eliza said, but there was no clear way back. The figure spoke, its voice echoing like a chorus of tormented souls. "You came seeking answers. Now you belong to the abyss." As they moved closer to the lighthouse, the ground beneath their feet began to crumble, revealing an endless void below. They ran, but the space around them twisted and shifted, the cliffs stretching infinitely. Sophia fell, her screams swallowed by the void as skeletal hands clawed at her from the darkness. Eliza and Mark reached the doorway, but the shadowy figure blocked their path. "You cannot escape what you've awakened," it said. Mark stepped forward, holding up one of the inscriptions he had copied. The symbols began to glow, and the figure recoiled. "It's afraid!" he shouted. The light from the inscription momentarily pushed the figure back, giving them a chance to enter the lighthouse. Inside, the space was surreal. Stairs spiraled in every direction, and doors opened to endless voids or horrifying visions of past victims trapped in the abyss. Eliza found a room filled with nautical maps and a journal written by the lighthouse's original keeper. It spoke of an ancient entity imprisoned within the lens, feeding off the fear of those who entered. "It's not the lighthouse, it's the light itself," she realized. Using the journal's instructions, they ascended to the lantern room. The lens pulsed violently, the wails deafening. Mark recited an incantation from the journal while Eliza smashed the lens with a rusted anchor she found. The moment the lens shattered, the lighthouse trembled, and a blinding light consumed everything. Eliza woke up on the rocky shore, the lighthouse a crumbled ruin behind her. Mark was nowhere to be seen. As she stumbled back to town, she noticed strange behavior in the townsfolk. Their eyes glowed faintly white, and they whispered in unison, "The abyss is never destroyed. It only waits." Eliza's reflection in a storefront window revealed her own eyes, glowing the same eerie white. The lighthouse was gone, but its curse had spread. The screen fades to black, the faint sound of waves crashing and wailing voices lingering in the silence.